Hey guys, today we're eating a potato pie, and as you guessed, the recipe is from Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. It's always a tongue twister for me. So I read this whole book in 2 weeks because it was just so good. I have some things marked in it, as you can tell, and I just wanted to talk about that today. And also I wanted to eat this delicious pie with you. Now, I got the recipe from the website, so this is the official potato peel pie. So it is potato and holding this book helps me think. So it has like potato and beets and milk. So those are the only ingredients that we used. Oh, and salt water, of course. So I want to have some while it's hot. And we mashed it by hand, so it is it's a little chunky. Wow, there we go. All right, so as you can see, it's like a little chunky there, but it's really good. It's pretty good looking to me. Now on the site they said, don't be deceived. It is bland mush. So I'm going to take an even smaller bite because like it is hot and I don't want to burn my lips. That would not be good. And here's like bland potatoes. This isn't bad at all. Oh, and then it has all the. I took the skin. Okay, so I'm gonna run you down how I made this. I took the potato, I skinned it, I put the skins inside for the crust. Let me see if I can get one for you. So yeah, there's one of the skins. It was really good. So I took the skins, them in the base for the crust. Then I took the potatoes, I mashed them by hand. And then I took beets and I put them in with the potatoes. Now, I mashed them up together. And then I put 2 tablespoons, because I had 2 potatoes, I had 2 beets, and I know that's not authentic, but you wouldn't be able to see. I didn't have a small enough dish for that, and you wouldn't be able to see it. I would have to like hold it up here. So I took 2 potatoes, 2 beets, so I doubled the recipe, and then 2 tablespoons of milk. But it calls for 1 potato, 1 beet, and 1 tablespoon of milk. And then I put that all into the thing, and I cooked it for 15. So it's pretty good. Now, about this amazing book, I want to talk about some of the differences between like the movie and the book. But first I want to talk about like some of the things I love with the book. I love the characters in the book. I just absolutely love the characters. Like I felt like so close with, sorry, another reading. I felt so close with like Isola and like her quirkiness, and just how like out to lunch, oh spoilers by the way, out to lunch at the end she is about, you know, them 2 getting together, and she thinks that guy's gonna be like with Remy, but he's not. I thought that was just like, that's so me. I'm like, oh my word, they totally like each other. But I have some butter here. In all actuality, people back then probably wouldn't have eaten as much as this whole thing. So I have some butter to go along with it. It's not like very salty butter. Actually, it's very it's already congealed, which is sad. But I really liked when Amelia asked for references such that she could write the article and stuff. She like gave Bella and then the pastor. So I thought Bella is like, I thought that was so funny. Like how she like how, first of all, like, she even included her, but, like, secondly, like, how funny her review of her is. Like Juliet is, like, such a well-rounded character. Like, that's what I liked about her, too. Like, in the differences between the movie and the book, like, in the book, she is 32. In the movie, she looks 25. Like, when you're 32, you're, like wiser. Older and wiser. So she seemed more, you know, what she was doing and making, like, smarter choices for her life in the book. But I really liked how she included 2 references, like Bella's, which was, like, she didn't like her at all, and then the pastor who, like, loved her, like, growing up and stuff. I'm trying to taste some of the beets. I can taste a little bit of the beet. It's very mild, though. It's not, like, super sweet or anything like that. It's a very pretty color, though. Very pretty. It's really good. I liked how in the book, like, they all wrote to her, and I loved the story behind, like, John Booker and, like, how he did in the house pretending to be Tobias. There's definitely a beat. And I thought it was funny how he said the Germans came in there very polite, but they took over nonetheless, and I was sleeping in, like, the woodshed, and then they took all the wine and they, like, put it in the shed. I thought it was so funny. I liked how each person had a backstory and they went into it. I feel like I don't remember a lot of guys in the movie, but, like, I feel like there was only one guy, and he was the one who made the pie, which in the book is Will. And like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I have to rewatch the movie, but I don't feel like there was, like, a whole lot of guys that they keyed in on besides Dossie and Eben in the movie. Oh, and there was Eli too, the son of Eben. So yeah, I could definitely, I think that it's hot, but I could definitely see, like, in the movie, they, like, condensed everything down. And Isla was different than, like, when I read the book, because I watched the movie, then I read the book, because, like, I didn't even know the book, like, existed. Then, like, my mom was like, oh, we have this actually, and I was like, really? Well, I want to read it. So I got it. I was so good. Read it in 2 weeks. And for me, that's quick. Like, it usually takes me a month to, like, read books and stuff. I love reading, but yeah. Looking at my notes here. Let's go into some of the differences. Like, they wrote to her in the books. In the movie, I think it was only Dossie that wrote to her. There was, like, this big thing in the movie that they didn't want it to be out in the open because they were afraid for kids' safety. But, like, in the book, there was, I think she gave Amelia the references. You know, she didn't want to be seen in a bad light, I believe. That's where the references come in from, like, Bella and the pastor. And, like, overall, like, I just thought it was sort of weird to, like, I guess not, well, reading the book, it seems weird now that they, like, made a huge deal about it. Like, but I guess, like, it makes sense for, like, a movie to keep things up with, like, the pace. And stuff. Oh, Mark. Mark. Yeah. So Mark in the movie, I was like, oh, I'd date him. And then he broke up with her, and I was like, maybe not. But then I read the book, and I was like, oh my word, he is not not a very good person at all. Like, in the book, they have like this whole thing where he's like, it shows that their letters back and forth are like, he's like very pushy. He's like, I'm trying to be more whatever, like adaptable and stuff or something, I forget. But she's like, oh, I made something, like some sort of food. Would you like to come over at 7? And he's like, oh no, let's go to the opera house or something. And I'm like sitting there like, she made food and now he wants to go out. Like, I don't, like, and he's just super pushy in the book. He just like wants her to stay. Like, of course they showed in the movie too, like he wants her to stay. She doesn't, I don't believe she has a ring. Like, when the movie they had, she has a ring on. Like, she has like a ring, and it's huge, and that's a big point, like in the movie and book. And in the movie, like, it's at the end that you see he gets on the island that he's like not the right guy for her. And you can sort of tell before that, but like in the book, you can tell right off the bat he's like super pushy. He like just wants to have fun. He just like, he doesn't really care about Juliet's passions, and that's sort of what drives her into like not being with him. And then she's like, also I liked about Juliet in the book, it doesn't show her as like, oh well, she already has another man, so it's easier for her to make the choice. Like, sort of in the book it's the same way, but it's like sort of still up in the air that Dossie like likes her, because there's Remy in the picture, you know. And so like I felt like more in the book she wasn't just swinging from one to the other. Like in the book I felt like she was still up in the air with Dossie, but she chooses not to, like she says, not to argue the rest of her life, and like not having to cry just to get sympathy from him. And then still they are like argue after that. Like that stood out to me, like that part. I was like, I don't want to have to cry the rest of my life just to get a shred of sympathy from him or something like that. Don't quote me, but like that stood out to me a lot, because I feel like a lot of people are like that these days. They're like, they want their way or the highway, and then if you get your way, you're like, you're the one in the bad, and they turn tables on you. That's a narcissist. Like, you know, I was like, for you, Juliet, good for you. He was sort of also, Mark was also sort of dampening her passion. Like, she saw herself like just going to all these things and not like growing in the aspect that she loved, like reading and books and knowledge. So, and then, like I said, it wasn't until the very end that they get together, like Dossie and her, like not to the very, very end. I remember Remy in the book was just like great, because I feel like they should happen in the movie too. It really shows like the PTSD and all the stuff that people went through at the time. You know, like people, like I remember there's one part in the book where it says, I see dogs and they're like described as like just like this happy dog or whatever. One dog, not two. And like Remy starts to have like a seizure, and grasping, having like bodily reactions to that. And you find out later it was because when they had the marches in the concentration camps, and they would release the dogs on the women just for fun. Like, it's just horrible. They rile up the dogs and then like set them loose on the women, and just like watch, like to see what happens. It's just horrible. And it really shows you that like, yeah, that stuff like happened to people. It's just gruesome and horrible. And like, I really hope I hope we learn from history so we don't repeat it, you know. Oh yes, the I don't know how to say it correctly. I should have looked it up on Google before. But like the workers that they had on the islands, like they went into detail about that like a lot. Like They showed it in the movie, yeah, but like in the book, like I just remember reading it and being like, wow, like they have like from Russia and other places, and they just worked them and worked them. And I was like looking into it, Himmer's plan that like it was like an experiment to make the workers like work so hard to exhaustion. It's like exhaustion leading to death. So that was his plan, and to see if it worked. And I was just like, wow, that is just horrible. And I was looking into it, and like some of the quotes I saw from him, he was just like, I don't care if women are like falling down from like collecting such and such manual labor work, like, you know. And it's like, wow, it's horrible. I just, you know, you really feel for those people. Like, you like can't other like understand what they went through unless you went through something similar. Yeah, your heart goes out to them. In the book, like it talked about Elizabeth and like how it ended her. Like I don't remember in the book, I mean the movie, how it said that she died. I think it was like she was helping someone out. I think that's what it was vague. But in the book it talks about like, yeah, and it's just like, it's horrible. But the women would have periods, some of them would, and some of them wouldn't because of how like harsh the conditions were, but some of them still would. And so when the woman would bleed, the workers, it would like encourage them to beat the women to be like for bleeding, like because they weren't provided with any rags or anything to like collect the blood. It would just like drip down their legs. And so the officers and stuff at the camp would like beat the women when that happened. And so Elizabeth was just like so fed up with all that they shot her when she stood up for one of the women getting beaten for being on their period. Like I was like, wow, that like, first of all, like shame on all those people for, it was just idiotic for like beating someone for something they can't control. And how horrible, like just that people found an excuse to be horrible to other people. Like it's ridiculous. It's cruel and unhuman. It's sick. It shows how depraved we are. Oh, back on the tote workers, I remember like this one part where it said that they would have to stand in, they used to were like the workers on the island and stuff, you don't remember, but they stood in their own filth in the dirty water, like I think it was like in the ocean sort of, like and catch fish to eat. And like I was just like, and the water was like where they poured the sewage and stuff, and then the tote workers would go into the water because there was like, forget like the exact reason why. I think it was just like that whole ocean line had like dirty water in it, and then they would catch fish to eat because like they didn't have any other food. And like some of the islanders would give them food, but like it wasn't enough. They would have to like, it was like a piece of bread, and they showed in the movie sort of like them breaking the bread, handing it to the person behind them. Like I just thought, how cruel, you know? Like, it's so cruel. You know? Yeah. Like sort of a happier note, like I thought it was cute that Will created the potato peel pie recipe because they didn't want like, no. I thought it was cute that Will created the potato peel pie recipe because he didn't want to go to a meeting without food at it. I was like, I relate to that so much. Oh my word. And I thought it was sweet that like Eli like carved things and carved like, I think it was a mouse, yeah. I think it was a mouse for Juliet. That was so sweet. In the book, like Kit had like a lot more personality, I felt. I guess like maybe I have to watch the movie again, but like in the movie I didn't feel like she had as much. She wasn't as sassy, but like I thought it was adorable in the book. She's like, she didn't like Juliet at first. She like gave her like weird eyes and stuff. As Juliet like made her like finger jokes or finger trick or whatever, and like just like was overall just like herself and sweet. The kid that quick like grew on her and stuff, and like Juliet grew on Kit, and like Kit liked her. That was sweet. And then I thought it was sweet that Dossie was so out to lunch, like about things, you know, about Juliet. I feel like that's so true for such nice guys. Like, they don't assume anything. And like how like Juliet proposed at the end, like when he fell off the ladder and broke his ankle. I was like, oh my lord, he was so excited that like Juliet proposed to him, that he fell off the ladder for her, like, and he was just like in shock. Oh, like I didn't want him to fall off. I just thought it was like sweet that he was so shocked by it that he did. But yeah. That last beat was sweet. Have some water. I thought it was like more dramatic in the movie. I liked like how the book was like not dramatic in that aspect, but it was more like realistic. Like how like things folded out, and like how like after the war it was, and just like stuff like that. It flowed better for me. Like the movie was like intriguing, yeah, but they had a lot of Elizabeth in the book and in the movie, so there's no real differences there. I didn't connect with Elizabeth a whole lot, but like not like because she was like brave or anything, but because like I don't know, never been like quick to like come up with something. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never been quick to like she was with the Germans and stuff. Be like, we're part of a society, or whatever, how smoothly she said it, and a reading club. Yeah. I think, did they merge all one character together with the three guys? I don't know. I'll have to rewatch it. I think they did though, because I might have. I don't know. I don't think so. I thought there was like, in the movie there were three guys, but in the book there's like 1, 2. No, we already went over that. Oh, don't stain, beat. Don't stain. That's one thing I had to be careful with this. Beets stain. So I had to be very careful mashing and stuff, not to get any on me. Especially since I'm wearing yellow today. But yeah, those are just like some of the differences like I saw, and like some, like mostly, like I loved all the characters. Like they're great. Like even Bella. Like, I don't know. Oh, Adelaide, yeah. I didn't really like her. In the book, she was more, she was a little milder. But like in the movie, she was like, oh yeah, that was a definite difference. She didn't stay with like, her. She stayed with Isola. So that's another difference. Well, Isola was so sweet. She's a real sweetheart. Yeah. I'm always realistic. I was like, I would totally stay with like Isola, but then I thought to myself, I was like, no, there'd probably be bugs because she's trying out herbs in there. I guess there would be bugs everywhere. I just say in the movie, that ring, that was huge. It was so big. It's like the size of I don't even know anything in comparison. It's like that big. That rock was like that big. This is really good. It's like it gets like chunks here and there because I did mash it by hand. It's like mashed potatoes and beets and potato skins, which are really good for you. According to my grandpa, they're really good for you. I really love this book. It was like really good read, really good like content. They had just like a lot of things I did love, and there's not a whole lot I didn't love, you know. But yeah, I thought the pastor was really sweet for giving her that review. It was really sweet. Just random, but yeah, it was a really good book, and I'd totally read it again. So this is my potato peel pie, and that are my thoughts on this awesome book and the movie. And I will see you next time.